I absolutely love everything that Caitlyn Clark stands for and what she has done for the women's game.
In the ever-heated world of sports commentary, few voices carry as much weight as NBA legend Reggie Miller. Known for his sharp tongue, fierce loyalty, and unshakable confidence, Miller is never one to shy away from controversy. But when he recently stepped up to defend rising basketball sensation Caitlyn Clark, no one was prepared for the emotional intensity and fiery conviction in his words. So, what did he say? And why did he speak up for her? Join us as we uncover Reggie Miller's defense for Caitlyn Clark. Reggie Miller's bold message. Reggie Miller has never been the kind of person to keep quiet, especially when something really bothers him. Known as one of the greatest shooters and most fearless trash talkers in NBA history, Reggie built his career by getting inside his opponents' heads and throwing them off their game. So when he saw everything Caitlyn Clark has been going through on the court lately, he didn't call for calm. He didn't ask people to wait and see. Instead, he made a bold and shocking statement. He said maybe it's time for Caitlyn to stand up and slap somebody. Now that might sound extreme at first, but Reggie wasn't joking. He said it out of anger, not Caitlyn's anger, but his own. Because Reggie sees the full picture. He sees the hard fouls, the cheap shots, the pushing and shoving that go beyond normal play. He sees the silence from league officials and other players, the way no one is stepping up to protect her. And that silence, to him, is louder than any whistle. Reggie's message is simple. When you have a player like Caitlyn Clark, someone who's not just talented, but who's drawing millions of new fans, boosting ratings, and bringing huge attention to the sport, you don't just let her take hit after hit. You protect her, you defend her, you make sure the league values her safety as much as her skill. But since no one seems to be doing that, Reggie's had enough, and that's why he said what he said. So, how about other famous legends? Did they also stand by her? Let's find out. Legends, support for Caitlyn Clark. When legendary NBA players speak, the world pays attention. Not because they have to, but because these are the men who built the game. They've battled for championships, endured the drama, and stood at the very center of basketball greatness. So when icons like Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, George Gervin, and even Jeff Teague start talking about Caitlyn Clark, you know something serious is happening. This isn't your everyday sports chatter. This is a turning point. They're not tossing out safe, polished compliments to stay on the league's good side. What they're doing is way more raw, way more honest. They're calling out the league, the media, and even the players themselves, and they're naming names. These aren't journalists or internet personalities. These are the same men whose names hang from the rafters, the same legends who shaped what the NBA is today. And now, they're looking at Caitlyn Clark and saying what many have been too scared to say out loud. They're not just praising her, they're applying pressure on the WNBA to protect and promote its biggest star. Pressure on the media to stop spinning narratives filled with hate and jealousy. Pressure on players who have treated Caitlyn more like a threat than a teammate. Why? Because if the WNBA doesn't get this right, it risks losing what it has been desperately chasing for more than 25 years. True, lasting relevance. This moment isn't about just another talented rookie. It's about a player who might be transforming the entire sport. Some are calling Caitlyn Clark the Tiger Woods of women's basketball. Others say bluntly, if she's not playing, nobody's watching. These aren't wild opinions. They're hard truths that only legends dared to speak until now. And then there's Jeff Teague. He didn't come to the table with a suit and tie, rehearsed lines, or corporate-approved statements. He talked like your cousin who just watched the game and had to speak up. When Caitlyn Clark came up, he didn't sugarcoat a thing. In plain words, he said, "Ain't nobody going to watch basketball if she ain't playing." A former NBA All-Star just admitted that one single player is carrying the WNBA's viewership. He wasn't trying to hype her up. He was simply telling the truth, and it hit hard. Teague didn't stop there. He doubled down. She's the best. She's the best ever, bro. I don't care. She's the best ever. That's not casual fan talk. That's a seasoned pro, someone who has been there, putting Caitlyn Clark into the same conversation as the greatest of all time, just a few years into her pro career. And Teague wasn't laughing or trying to go viral. He meant every word. This is the same guy who once said Kawhi Leonard wasn't that impressive after guarding him. So you know he doesn't hand out praise lightly. He's not just saying Caitlyn will be successful. He's saying she's going to dominate. We're talking box scores that explode off the page, championship banners hanging in the rafters, and contracts with more zeros than we've ever seen in women's basketball. Teague sees the future, and it's wearing number 22. This isn't hype. It's a reality check. The legends are watching, speaking, and warning. The WNBA is standing on the edge of something big. Handle it right, and Caitlyn Clark could take the league to heights it's never dreamed of. Handle it wrong, and they may never get another chance like this again. Michael Thompson isn't just any former NBA player. He's a two-time champion and the father of one of the greatest shooters in basketball history, Klay Thompson. He spent most of his life surrounded by basketball royalty, on the court, in the locker rooms, even in those behind-the-scenes tunnels where legends quietly pass each other before games. So when Michael Thompson shares a story about Caitlyn Clark, it's worth paying close attention. He recalled a moment that left a lasting impression on him, not a highlight from a game or a championship memory, but something much more personal. When I was in Indianapolis, he said, I didn't care much about anything else. The only thing I remember from that trip is this. I'm walking out of Gainbridge Fieldhouse through the loading dock and Caitlyn Clark walks right past me. And what did he do? Nothing. He froze. He didn't say hello. He couldn't even get a word out. There she was, my favorite basketball player, other than my son Klay, and I couldn't even speak. This is the same man who played with and around Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He didn't choke in front of them. But Caitlyn Clark? She left him speechless. That's not just admiration, it's awe. Because Michael isn't reacting to just another talented player. He's reacting to a phenomenon, a cultural shift, something so powerful that it causes a man who's spent decades in the basketball world to forget how to talk. Caitlyn isn't simply playing in the WNBA, she's transforming it. She's creating moments people will remember forever. And when a man who raised a generational talent like Klay Thompson calls her his favorite player, that's not just hype. That's validation. Caitlyn Clark has done more than break into the basketball conversation. She's broken through every level. Male and female players admire her. Fans follow her. Legends respect her. And then, just when you thought the praise couldn't get any bigger, along comes Magic Johnson, Robert Horry, and Pierce, all putting their weight behind Caitlyn. So, what did they say about her? Let's take a closer look. Magic, Robert, and Pierce on Caitlyn Clark. Magic Johnson knows what it takes to carry a league. He did it during a time when the pressure was high, the spotlight was unrelenting, and every move was watched by millions. So when Magic talks about Caitlyn Clark, he's not just tossing out compliments, he's giving perspective. She's the most popular player in the WNBA right now, Magic said. But she's not the best, not yet, and that's okay. Larry Bird and I weren't the best when we started either. We had to prove ourselves over time. Caitlyn has to do the same. That might sound like criticism, but coming from Magic Johnson, it's actually the highest form of praise. He's saying Caitlyn is now on a journey that mirrors the paths of true legends, like himself and Bird. She's not being judged by different standards anymore. She's being held to the same bar as the greatest players to ever touch the game. And the most exciting part? Magic isn't doubting her. He's encouraging her. He's saying, "You've already captured the spotlight. Now rise to the top. Take the crown." But not every legend was so calm and composed about Caitlyn's rise. One Hall of Famer said out loud what many fans have been thinking privately. They don't just want to watch Caitlyn Clark succeed. They want to see her go head-to-head with the best, challenge the old guard, and bring fire back into the game. Robert Horry isn't one to chatter for the sake of it. When he finally speaks up, his words land like precision-guided missiles, quiet, direct, and impossible to ignore. So when Shaquille O'Neal suggested that Caitlyn Clark should wait her turn, Horry didn't tiptoe around the comment. He detonated the notion in a single, blistering sentence. Shaq said, "I love Caitlyn Clark, but she needs to wait her turn." That line didn't just come off as a gentle suggestion. It sounded like a slow-down sign for anyone who believes a newcomer must pay her dues before earning respect. But Horry wasn't having it. He called the idea out for what it was, a check on someone already proving herself day after day. Think about it. Caitlyn has generated more buzz and banked more headlines in a handful of months than many veterans have in their entire careers. The league's ticket scanners and TV cameras have all but glued themselves to her because she's earned it. And Robert Horry knows this better than most. He's watched stars flare and fade. He's seen what waiting your turn really looks like. And in his eyes, Caitlyn's moment isn't something she has to qualify for. It's something she's already claimed. Then there's Paul Pierce, another veteran who understands pressure like it's a second skin. Pierce didn't just nod in agreement. He unpacked Caitlyn's situation with the respect that only someone who's worn the next big thing crown can give. No one in NBA or WNBA history, he stammered, searching for a comparison, has jumped into the spotlight and all its demands so quickly. There's simply no precedent for what Caitlyn's facing. The endorsements, the record ratings, the endless storylines, and the high-stakes expectations all wrapped into one rookie season. Pierce knows the sting of being hyped too early. He's felt the whisper of doubt behind every critique. But what Caitlyn is shouldering goes beyond that. Racial narratives, locker room envy, media silence on real issues, and cameras capturing even her quietest moments. Pierce didn't claim she's flawless or that she's mastered it all already. Just that surviving this firestorm with her head held high is nothing short of remarkable. In Horry's words and Pierce's respect, there's a clear message. Waiting your turn is for those who haven't yet proven themselves. Caitlyn Clark has already done that, and then some. Yet despite all that weight on her shoulders, she's still standing and still playing. And just when you thought that was all, KG, Gervin, and Barry took it even deeper. So, what was their opinion on Caitlyn? Let's find out. KG, George Gervin, and Rick Barry's testimony. Kevin Garnett doesn't play by the usual rules. He's not worried about hurting feelings, and he doesn't dress up the truth to make it sound nice. When he talks, it's straight from the heart, raw, real, and unfiltered. So when KG spoke up about Caitlyn Clark, he didn't hold back. He kept it honest, and he kept it personal. For Kevin, being hated on is actually a sign of success. He said it's a privilege to be in a position where people are coming after you. Why? Because that means you're doing something right. If you're not stirring the pot, if no one's mad or uncomfortable, then maybe you're not making a big enough impact. That's the message he gave Caitlyn, and it completely flipped the usual story. While others see the fouls, the dirty looks, and the backlash and ask, "Why are they treating her like this?" KG looks at it and says, "Good." He sees it as proof that she's shaking up the system. Caitlyn Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's changing the game. She's shifting how money moves, how media covers women's sports, and how culture pays attention to the WNBA. And that kind of disruption? It always brings resistance. KG knows that because he's been there before. He knows what it feels like to have a target on your back just because you're different, just because you're great. He's not giving Caitlyn pity, he's giving her wisdom, the kind only a legend who's walked through fire can give. His message? If they're not coming for you, you're not doing enough. Then came another legend who turned up the heat even more, Rick Barry. He didn't just talk about haters, he talked about consequences. Rick didn't sugarcoat anything either. He didn't tiptoe around the issue. He came straight for the truth, with intensity and focus. While some former players were just starting to admit that Caitlyn's taking too many cheap shots, Rick took it further. He demanded action. He said flat out, "It's disgraceful what the league is allowing to happen. Any player who hits Caitlyn Clark with a flagrant foul just because of who she is and what she represents should face serious punishment. Big fines and suspensions. That's not just an opinion. That's a Hall of Famer calling for accountability. Rick isn't saying Caitlyn should be treated like she's fragile. He's saying the league needs to protect her the same way they would protect any other star. Because what's happening to Caitlyn isn't just tough defense. It's intentional. It's targeted. She's being hit not for how she plays, but for who she is. And Rick Barry sees that clearly. He's not asking for special rules, just fair treatment. Imagine if an NBA superstar got tackled off the ball like Caitlyn has. There'd be ejections. There'd be league statements. There'd be headlines. But when it happens to Caitlyn, nothing. Just silence. Barry's calling out that silence. And what makes it worse? Some of the very players who are benefiting the most from Caitlyn's presence in the league are the ones throwing the elbows. And then there's George Gervin, the Iceman. Known for his smooth style and calm voice, Gervin is a legend. But when it came to Caitlyn Clark, even he couldn't stay cool. Gervin didn't just talk about the hate. He talked about the bigger picture. The value Caitlyn is bringing to every player in the WNBA, even the ones who don't like her. Think about it. Before Caitlyn came into the league, most teams weren't flying on private jets. Now they are. Before she arrived, WNBA games weren't being shown on prime TV channels. Now they're everywhere. And Gervin made a powerful comparison. He said Caitlyn is doing for women's basketball what Tiger Woods did for golf. Just like Tiger changed the size of the paycheck for everyone, Caitlyn is changing the entire economy of the WNBA. She's lifting the league and the players higher than ever before. But Gervin wasn't done. He called out the players' unions too. He asked why they aren't standing up and saying, "We need another Caitlyn Clark if we want to keep these benefits." But they're not the only ones speaking out against the hate. So, who else is speaking up? Let's take a closer look. Barnes, Zeke, and Barkley assertion. Matt Barnes didn't hold back as well, and he never does. Whether he's on the court, behind a mic, or on TV, Matt is known for saying the things most people are too scared to say out loud. And when it came to Caitlyn Clark, he didn't just defend her, he told a hard truth. He said something powerful. She has the Tiger Woods effect. What did he mean? Just like Tiger made people who didn't care about golf suddenly start watching it, Caitlyn Clark is doing the same for women's basketball. Even people who don't follow the WNBA are tuning in, because she's that exciting. That's a huge compliment. But then Barnes took it one step further and said the part no one else wanted to say out loud. I think a lot of the hate toward Caitlyn is because she's white. There it was. No hints. No vague comments. Just the truth, plain and clear. Barnes was pointing to something deeper. He wasn't just talking about basketball jealousy or rookie hazing. He was talking about race. Caitlyn's not the first talented guard. She's not the first confident player or the first to put up big numbers. But she is the first white woman to be pushed as the face of the WNBA from the start. And for some people, that's a problem. What Barnes said is what a lot of folks whisper behind closed doors. He brought it into the open. This isn't just about earning stripes or waiting your turn. It's about some people being uncomfortable with who is now in the spotlight. And Barnes didn't say it to cause drama. He said it because it's real, and the truth doesn't need backup. Then came Isaiah Thomas, Zeke, and he wasn't quiet either. Zeke doesn't just understand basketball, he understands why things happen. When he talked about Caitlyn, he didn't focus on the noise or the headlines. He talked about her game. He looked past the drama and broke down how smart and skilled she is. And then Charles Barkley showed up, and he threw a bomb on live TV. Barkley, a WNBA supporter himself, said it loud and clear. They couldn't have handled the Caitlyn Clark situation any worse if they tried. He called out everything. He called out the media, the bitter players, and the league itself. He wasn't just giving an opinion, he was delivering a wake-up call. You can't go on TV and trash her just because you don't like her, he said. That's not how it works. Barkley pointed out the truth that too many are ignoring. Caitlyn Clark has brought in huge attention to the league. She's the reason more people are watching. She's the reason the players are now flying private, getting more media attention, and seeing real progress. And what does she get in return? Cold stares, cheap fouls, and players acting like she doesn't belong. That's what fired Barkley up, and he didn't hold back. "This girl is incredible," he said. "And she doesn't even talk back. She just plays." So, what do you think of Reggie Miller defending Caitlyn Clark? Is she truly worth it? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.